Hi guys, welcome to my weekly waffle that I'm actually going to try and attempt to do weekly now that I'm like back from America and everything. It's just so hard juggling absolutely everything and like E3 and Xbox and everything, and just I have like no recollection of what happened at E3. I'm really enjoying editing the vlogs about them because I'm like, oh, all these things happened. Who knew? Anyway, today I wanted to talk a little bit about moving to America. Because obviously I've been tweeting a little bit about it and applying for my US visa. And some of you guys were asking me about like, oh my God, you're moving to America, and you know. And I just wanted to sort of clear up a few little things and talk a little bit about kind of where my head is at. So I've paid for the visa, which doesn't mean that you get it. You just pay like a really large sum of money that's like eye-wateringly large, and you pay it to a solicitor and then they kind of make your application for you. It won't necessarily be positive. I think it should be. I think I've got enough kind of work that I can kind of show them that I would do, that would mean that they would say okay. I hope so, otherwise that's like a huge sum of money that I've just poured down a drain. It actually makes my stomach turn thinking about it. Be positive, it's gonna happen, right? Yeah? I really hope so. Basically, there sort of comes a point in the UK where I feel a little bit frustrated because there just aren't like the shows, there aren't like the shows being commissioned for how popular gaming is and how popular tech is and how popular all these things are. There aren't that many kind of commissions that go on, and the ones that do happen, I feel like I'm always in the wrong place, and so much of being a presenter is feeling like you made a terrible decision. You're like, why didn't I just get a normal job like a normal person? Because you can't, you'd suffocate. But you always feel like you're losing out jobs to other people from kind of other like realms of work. So sometimes like they'll hire comedians, sometimes they'll like hire YouTubers, and then like you just like, it always feels like you're never the right person, even though you know you're the right person for a job. It can be ultimately quite frustrating, and you can lose jobs. I've talked about this before, just down to just absolutely pointless hair color reasons, and just there's nothing more frustrating than when you've really worked hard, or you feel like you've really worked hard, get good at what you do, and you know you can do a job, but then it's like something really arbitrary is the reason why you don't get it. Anyway, so I kind of feel like I constantly hit like brick walls here a little bit in terms of what I'd like to do and what I'd be able to do. And that's not to say these things won't happen. It's just it's very, very, very slow process in the UK, just really slow. We also don't have like stacks of cash, so they're a bit more careful about what they commission and what they don't. They don't want to take like huge risks. Certainly not on some idiot like me, you know. But you know, positive attitude. I mean, I don't know. I just thought it'd be a really sensible idea to hedge my bets a bit. And the plan isn't really to move to the States. The plan is to be able to work in the States. Because actually hopping over to LA isn't terrible. I mean, yes, jet lag, etc., but it's not the end of the world. And like after doing that Tom Clancy Goes Recon job, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the whole process. So I'd really, really like to do that more. There just seems to be more opportunities in America, and I don't know. I'd like to travel anywhere really for work. I'd be quite happy to. I just like working, really. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I just like working, and I'd like to do more of it, please. Give me jobs. There's so many opportunities out there, and I'm very much a person who likes to keep their eye out for them and try and like hedge my bets and see where things go, because some things you put a lot of time and effort into and they don't go anywhere, and sometimes they do, but it's not in a direction you want to go, and it's a lot. It's quite time consuming the rest of the time, sort of chasing up leads and sort of seeing what things might pan out, and you can be really excited about something and then like nothing ever happens. It's a really weird career. That's not even jet lag, that's just me. Half of me is really, really excited. half of me feels crushingly guilty that potentially in the future I could leave my parents on their own. But I don't know, like, I'm all for responsibility, and I feel like I've put in a lot of time. Oh, that sounds terrible, like I've paid my dues. I just mean that it's not like I've been bereft of looking after my family. And like, when you just put in so many kind of years and time and mileage into a career, you know, you wanna get the most out of it. It could be amazing. It could be really amazing. Maybe they want some like nerdy English girl. But yeah, I was really, I came back and I was like, right, I'm gonna sort my visa out. And I'd spoken to the solicitor, and the solicitor was like, send me the money. And I was like, okay. And then I sat there and I was like, gonna do the bank transference. And then I just got completely cold feet and was like, it's so much money. It's so much money. To the point where, it sounds really lame, but I spoke to like my UK agent, and I was like, I'm freaking out. What am I doing? Am I being crazy? Is this a stupid thing? A lot of what your agent is just listening to you freak out about something and then telling you to calm down. It's like 90% of the job, I think. I mean, they get you jobs as well, but also just listening to you rant like a lunatic about things like, why are they telling me this? And then they go back to the person, they're like, Julia is unfortunately really busy. Just basically took out the swear words of the version that I said. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and she was like, look, you know, there aren't many people that I would suggest going to America, because it seems to be that thing like, oh, you go to America, it's going to be amazing, la 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 la, and everyone wants to go to Hollywood and be a star and all that rubbish. Can't imagine anything worse. But yeah, she was just like, for you it makes sense, you know, there's so much, there's such a huge market out there for what you do that it makes sense to go there. It makes sense to be legally able to work there, and you know. So she calmed me down, and I sent the bank transfer that was so large I had to send it in 4 portions, because my bank was like, what are you doing? Is this you? Are you being fraudulent, Julia? We know about you. And yeah. I told my dad, I mean, they knew I was applying for my visa, and I told my dad, and I told him how much. It's like, $6 grand. And I don't know why I'm whispering, there's literally nobody here. Hey! There's nobody here. And I told my dad, and he like dropped the phone. He was like, why is it so expensive? I don't know, because they charge a lot for stuff. I don't know. Solicitors are clearly expensive. I don't know. It's a good investment, right? Right? I mean, I'm all for like spending money to make money, but then that just usually gets me into debt. So I'm like, I need that hat because of a job. I don't need it for a job. I just want that hat. So, yeah. Are there any big decisions in life, maybe apart from marriage, I suppose, if you're like, you know, into the person or whatever. Are there any kind of really big decisions in life that could have huge ramifications that you don't freak out about? Or just have that moment of like, what the heck am I doing? I'm trying to think. I think every big decision comes with it a huge load of baggage, because you're just like, what if it goes wrong? And I think also, whenever you're doing something that you really want or could lead to something really big, you're kind of scared to take the step, because once you've taken the step, then if you fail, you failed. Whereas if you don't ever take the step, then you haven't failed because you didn't try. It was what my old flatmate used to say, trying is the first step towards failure. Yeah, Miles was a super upbeat dude, but we did laugh many times. It's halfway through the year, right? We finished June now, and when I got up this morning, I tend to like meditate in the mornings just so I'm not crazy. Top tip. And I was doing like a meditation and I felt kind of a bit crappy. I didn't have a great night's sleep. I kept waking up and I started to like grind my teeth in my sleep. So I know I'm stressed about something. I don't know what. So I sat there and I just felt a bit like, and I thought, you know what, Julie, it's halfway through the year. What have you accomplished this year? And I went through and I wrote a list of all the things that I'd accomplished this year. Should I get it? Let me get it. Stay there, don't go anywhere. Welcome to the sad world of Julia. This is, why do I keep showing you all these like really nerdy things that I do? Just embrace it, Julia. Right, so this is my morning meditation box. You don't actually need a box this big to meditate. I just like to make life complicated. Ow, that's really heavy. Okay, so basically I have my old iPhone and some really nice noise cancelling headphones, these Bose ones. Amazing, by the way. That I use purely just to meditate with. And it lives there and it stays there. So I'm not like, oh, I've got to find my phone and da-da-da, because like stress. It's illogical. Nevertheless, and then I have my like morning affirmations. One day I'll show you them, but not yet. I've been doing them for a while. It's a bit weird. Another time. What does Julia's heart desire? I'm not telling you. Not yet. Right. So then I also just have like a cruddy like notebook, right? Because I find that if in the mornings I'm feeling a bit stressed or upset about stuff, if I write down, I'm like, Julia, how do you feel? And I write down how I feel. And I'm like, oh, I feel like this. And I think, why do I feel like that? And I sort of pick it apart and then I feel a bit better. Anyway, it's not the reason why I brought it over. But it's sort of like expelling all of your negative, anyway. It's just basically, it's not even a diary. It's just like really boring things that I keep saying to myself. Like if anyone read it, they'd be like, you're literally the most dullest person ever. Super. So, right. Here we go. 2017, half a year through, let's reassess. So sometimes it's really hard to remember all the things you do in your life and things that you wanted that you got, and then you're like, next thing. I'm very much like that. So one of the things I managed to do this year was I've now signed up to a voiceover agency called Wise Buddha, which I've always wanted to do voiceover, and it's never really happened for different reasons because it required a lot of like work on my part and I didn't really understand how to do it, and like no one could really help me. And then when you agent basically sorted it out, I went for like a screen test, well not a screen test, like a voice test, whatever, and they've signed me up. And out of all the voiceover agencies that I looked through, they were like on my top 3. Like I had 3 to pick from that I really liked the look of. And that was one of them. And last year, signing up with Insanity, that was like kind of my dream, because I had like 2 or 3 that I thought would really fit me well. Yeah. So it's funny, it's like things that I'd written down that I wanted to do ended up happening. But you forget, right? I got to go to Japan. For work, like someone paid me to go to Japan. No, don't forget that, Julia, that's super cool. I've been training really hard and I've been really, really sticking to it. And although like you see the pictures on social media and like it looks like it's only been with the last couple of months, like yeah, I've been going quite hard in the past couple of months, but I've been training for a really long time, and maybe like more seriously within the past 2 years, and then within the past like 4 months or so, I've kind of gone quite hardcore. But I'm like the fittest I've ever been. And I like the way that my body is and how it feels. So that's a really good thing to be positive about. I'm applying for my US visa. I'm trying to get some more gaming ideas to Radio 1, and that's kind of going well. I can't really reveal too much just yet. I did my depression vlog series, which I've been meaning to do for ages, and I was putting off for ages, and I'm really happy with how it went. I'd like to do like a few more, or like one more kind of roundup video for that. But yeah, we'll see. There's a couple on here I can't tell you because they're not quite there yet, but they're close. One of them's really big. I hosted a football match in front of like tens of thousands of people. That was quite rad. Didn't think I'd ever do that. I shot a pilot for a TV show, can't tell you what it is, sorry. I did Tech Hunters as well, which is just a series that is so me, and it's probably the closest version of what I'm actually like in real life all the time in terms of presenting, I have to say. They really let me just kind of go to town and just be myself, and yeah. There's a lot, basically. Sorry, I just went through all that. There's quite a lot to be happy about, and you forget how much you accomplish in such a short time, really. Anyway, so I should just stay positive. We should all just stay positive, because there's lots of things in our lives that we manage to do, and there's lots of times we take gambles and risks, like doing a TED talk. That was terrifying, and then they come out well, and they come out good, and you're surprised, and they can really take your life in a different direction. And you just got to take a punt. What's the worst that can happen? All right, I could lose some money, but money's money, you know. Money's not really important. I'm never gonna like own anything in London anyway, most likely, so it doesn't really make any difference. It was literally what I was saving up for tax, so I just have to find some more tax money. It's all right, I got a little while before I've got to figure that, sort that problem out. If you could live anywhere in America, where would you live? What city? LA would be all right, I think. New York would be cool, because then it'd be quite easy to like come home and then come back, or like San Francisco. But like, where else would be cool? Anyway, thanks for sticking with me with my little weekly waffle. Of course, I've managed to talk for 4 hours about one thing. Of course, it's just what I do. You get a lot of value for money in terms of wordage out of this girl. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and join me next week for more on Weekly Waffle, where I don't know what I'll be doing because I haven't decided yet, because I haven't really fleshed out what this series is, because who has time? I'm kind of more of a shoot from the hip kind of YouTube girl. What am I doing today? Ah, I'll just film that. What's going on in that corner over there? That looks interesting. 2 hours later now. Anyway, the endings are always the longest, so bye.